It's nothing personal, little brother. It's just politics. But you're my brothers, and Sira my mate. Why? In the world of Lycans, power is everything, and the Crown Prince, Kalen, possessed a power that shook the very foundations of our society. He was not just another alpha. He was the first in a millennium to inherit the Obsidian Wolf, transformation the strongest and rarest form, destined to be king. But such power breeds fear, and fear breeds betrayal. The Obsidian Wolf is a legend, Kalen. Legends are meant to be stories, not rulers. You're a child. The packs would never follow you. I don't want to rule. I want my family. Sentimentality. That's why you're weak. Please, kill it. No! The three wolves got the small Obsidian Wolf is fast, dodging with preternatural agility, but it's overwhelmed. A slash from Fenrir sends it tumbling down a steep, muddy embankment towards a raging river. Kailin. Good. The river will finish what we started. We'll tell the council he was taken by rogue hunters during a walk. We're all that remains. But the river of fate has its own currents. The Crown Prince was not dead. He was lost, washed into a world without magic, without wolves. The human world, and a seed of vengeance, watered by betrayal, began to grow in the heart of a 7-year-old king. What happens when a betrayed prince grows up among humans? His immense power dormant. Last time, we left the young prince, Kalam betrayed and cast out, his royal bloodline a secret buried under the tragedy of a family torn apart. Now, in the human world, a new chapter begins, one far from the majesty of his kingdom. The Crown Prince of the Lycans was now just another orphan, lost in the system. They gave him a name, Leah, a human disguise for a king in exile. His first lesson in this concrete jungle wasn't reading or writing. It was the brutal art of survival, and the first rule of survival was to hide. Hide who he was, hide what he was. Every day was a test of his resolve. Other children, sensing he was different, would torment him for his silence, for the old world's sadness in his young eyes. Leo would just close his eyes, clenching his small fists until his knuckles turned white, battling the primal, wolfish urge to fight back, to show them a sliver of the power he held. The human form felt like a cage, too small, too weak. Nights were the hardest. Through a grimy window in the group home, he'd stare at the full moon, a celestial reminder of everything he had lost. It was a painful, silver beacon calling to a part of him he had to suppress. A single tear would trace a path down his cheek, a silent tribute to his lost family, his lost life. His sleep offered no escape. Nightmares plagued him, vivid replays of fire, betrayal, and the terrified face of his mother. He would twist in his sheets, a low, guttural growl rumbling in his throat, a sound so inhuman it would wake the other children, sending a chill of fear through the dormitory. His body was that of a human boy, but his soul remained pure wolf. The immense obsidian power, the birthright of his lineage, wasn't gone. It was dormant, a great beast caged within his heart, whispering to him in his dreams, reminding him of his true nature. Then, one day, the pressure became too much. In the schoolyard, a familiar scene played out. A larger boy, puffed up with playground arrogance, shoved Leo to the ground, snatching his meager lunch. "What are you going to do about it, freak?" "Just stare at me," he taunted, as the other kids erupted in laughter. Leo's usual strategy was to endure, to walk away, to make himself small and disappear. But today was different. As he looked at the bully's sneering face, it overlapped with the memory of the cruel, mocking faces of his own brothers just before their betrayal. And in that instant, something inside him snapped. A low, unnatural growl, far too deep for a child, rumbled from Leo's chest. The air around him seemed to crackle and grow cold. The bully froze mid-laugh, his bravado vanishing, replaced by a raw, primal fear. For a split second, A flicker of starlight ignited within Leo's hazel eyes, turning them into the familiar, terrifying obsidian of his wolf form. "Never," he said, his voice a chilling, resonant command, "touch me again." The bully, speechless, stumbled backward and then scrambled away, followed by the now silent crowd. Leo was left standing alone, his heart hammering against his ribs, a mix of shock and exhilaration flooding his senses. He hadn't shifted, not fully, but he had felt it. The power, it was still there, coiled and waiting. The wolf wasn't gone. It had only been sleeping, and for the first time in a year, it had just opened one eye. In the shadows of the human world, a king was slowly beginning to remember his strength. But memories are a two-way street, and a sudden flicker of immense power in a world supposedly void of it can act as a very bright, very dangerous beacon. Across the city, unseen, a man in a dark, expensive suit stood on a rooftop. He lifted a strange, ornate device to his eye, and as it glowed faintly, he aimed it directly at Leo's school. A sharp, predatory smile spread across his face. He had found him. "The hunt is back on." Sound of a heavy goblet slamming onto a wooden table a flicker. In the human world, after all these years, impossible. "The scrying stone does not lie, my lord." The Obsidian Wolf's energy signature, it was brief, but it was his. A decade of peace, a peace built on a lie, was about to shatter. Fenrir and Rhys had grown comfortable, wrapped in the warmth of their stolen power. But the legend of the Obsidian heir, the true alpha, was a ghost they could never truly exorcise, a shadow that haunted their every victory. The whisper of his return was all it took to turn their kingdom of lies to glass. We send a team quietly. No grand armies, no spectacle. We confirm it as him, and then we finish it. No mistakes this time. And if it is him, a boy of 17, raised among humans, probably working some mundane job, oblivious to his own bloodline. What threat could he possibly be to us now? The threat is not the boy, Sarah. It is the symbol he represents. Hope. Rebellion. A challenge to our rule. We don't kill the boy. We kill the symbol. We extinguish the last ember of hope for those who would defy us. And so, their most ruthless hunter, the grizzled and relentless Corvus, was dispatched. He stepped through a shimmering, secret portal, leaving the shadowed world of the lichens behind and emerging into the neon-drenched night of the human realm. His hunt had begun. Leo, now a lean 17-year-old, with a wary, intelligent gaze that had seen too much, was walking home from a late shift at a diner. The city hummed around him, a familiar symphony of sirens and distant traffic. But tonight, a new sound cut through the Nozor, rather. A lack of it. A sudden, piercing silence that felt like a held breath. He felt it first as a prickle on the back of his neck, a primal instinct screaming that he was being watched, not by human eyes, but by the gaze of a predator. Without thinking, he ducked into a dark alley, his movements too fast, too fluid for an ordinary human. He pressed himself against the cold brick, his heart hammering a frantic rhythm. Glanced up. A shadow detached itself from the silhouette of a rooftop, impossibly large, impossibly fast. A voice, like dry leaves skittering across pavement, whispered on the wind, a sound meant only for him. "Little Prince. Come out, wherever you are." The voice was lichen. The words chilled him to the bone, a venomous echo from a past he had tried to bury. They had found him. The hunt he had been dreading his entire life had finally caught up to him. He ran, not with the blind panic of a terrified boy, but with the cold, strategic evasion of prey that had spent years learning to be a hunter itself. He plunged into the city's underbelly, a labyrinth of forgotten tunnels and shadowed backways, leading his pursuer on a desperate, high-stakes chase. He was no longer the helpless pup they had pushed into a raging river all those years ago. He was a survivor, forged in the harsh realities of two worlds, belonging to neither. But a lone wolf, even an obsidian one, is a vulnerable target. To survive this, he would need to stop running. He would need to find an ally. he would need to fight back. Cornered in a dead-end alley, the path behind him blocked by a grinning Corvus stepping into the faint light, his eyes glowing a vicious, predatory yellow, Leo ran out of room. He turned, planting his feet, and bared his teeth. Not in a shift, but in a raw, defiant human snarl. He would not die cowering, but as Corvus lunged, a silent shadow dropped from a fire escape just behind the hunter. It was a young woman, her face set with grim determination, a crossbow in her hands already loaded and aimed. The bolt wasn't just steel. It was tipped with gleaming, polished silver. A silver-tipped bolt rips through the air, inches from my face. It wasn't for me. It slams into the shoulder of Corvus, the lichen hunter, who roars in pain. The silver sizzles against his flesh, the smell acidic and foul. I spin around and see her. Ilara dressed in tactical gear, her face sharp, focused, as she reloads a crossbow with terrifying efficiency. Cornered, hunted by my past, the exiled prince faced death once more. But in the human world, where I thought I was alone, an unexpected protector emerged. The hunt was on, but the rules were about to change. Don't just stand there, furball. Run. I'm frozen for a second, caught between the hunter I know and the human I don't. Corvus, enraged, rips the bolt from his shoulder. His eyes blaze yellow, his body starting to swell and contort in a violent shift. You will die with him, human filth. Ilara doesn't even flinch. She fires again, this time at his leg, forcing him to dodge and breaking his transformation. I said run. Now, to the rust-colored fire escape on your left. This time, I listen. Survival instinct kicks in. I scramble up the fire escape, the metal groaning under my weight. Ilara covers my retreat, firing a smoke bolt that fills the alley with a thick, gray cloud. We burst into an abandoned loft. It's Spartan but functional. Weapons on one wall, strange symbols on another, maps of the city pinned up. I'm panting, my back to the door as she bars it shut. Who are you? How did you find me? And why did you help me? My name is Ilara, and I didn't find you. I tracked him. His kind leaves a stench of aggressive magic. As for why, ... She gestures to a weathered tapestry on the wall. It shows a majestic wolf with shimmering obsidian fur, a crown of moonlight on its head. My family are keepers, archivists, protectors. For centuries, we've documented your kind. We knew the obsidian heir had vanished. The legends say his return will prevent a great calamity. Legends are lies. Mycon tried to murder us 7 years. There's no great destiny, just a stolen throne. Maybe. But that lichen hunter was real. The silver in his shoulder is real. And your brothers won't stop with just him. They know you're alive now. She steps closer, her gaze intense. You have 2 choices. You can keep running alone, and you will be caught. Or you can let me help you. I can teach you to hide your energy signature, to fight back, to control the power you're so afraid of. I look from the tapestry, the symbol of everything I lost to her determined face. For the first time in 10 years, someone isn't looking at me like a victim or a freak, but as something more. As a king. You said ... Control my power. What do you know about it? I know it's not just a bigger, stronger wolf. The texts call it the Void Coat. A power that absorbs and reflects, that can shield as well as it can destroy. You've been treating it like a curse. It's a weapon. Your weapon. She holds out a hand. So, Your Highness, what will it be? A faint wisp of dark energy curls around my fingertips before fading. I meet her gaze, a new resolve hardening in my eyes. A king without a crown. A hunter who protects, an alliance forged in the shadows of a dead-end alley. The first step to reclaiming a throne is learning to stand your ground. And the first lesson is always the hardest. Target has secured a keeper. Location is compromised. The Obsidian heir is under their protection, awaiting orders. Observation only. Do not engage the keeper on her turf. We wait for him to be drawn out. An alliance was forged. but the walls were already closing in. To survive, the exiled prince would have to do more than just run. He would have to unlock the very power that made him a target. The Obsidian Wolf isn't just about brute force. Think of it as a reactive armor. It doesn't just generate power. It absorbs kinetic and magical energy and can redirect it. Your brothers fear it because they can't control it, but you've been suppressing it out of fear and pain. We need to turn that fear into focus. How? Every time I felt it come out, it was because I was angry or scared. Exactly. Emotion is the key, but you let it turn the key randomly. You need to be the one who turns it. We start small. No full shift, just a fragment. This crystal emits a low-level energy field. I want you to extend your power just to your hand and touch it. Don't force it. Invite it. It's not working. You're trying to punch a lock open. You need to be a key. Remember a memory, not of the betrayal, but of a memory of safety. Of power that felt good. Good. Now, touch the crystal. I primera carne, feel italiano. I can feel the energy. It's calm. For the first time, the prince touched his birthright, not as a curse, but as a part of himself. It was a small step, but a king's journey begins with a single, controlled step. However, control in one place can mean a loss of it in another. He's alive. Anisi Scam. He's not the frightened boy we left behind, a ripple in the bond that connected them across worlds. The mate he believed to be his betrayer felt the first true stirrings of his strength, and that connection, once a source of pain, was about to become a conduit for doubt. Corvus failed. The Keeper interfered, but our second agent confirms the prince is being trained. And what is your new plan, my lord? Send another assassin. We adapt. We draw him out. Uses human attachments against him. Sentiment is always a weakness. Why so quiet, your bond ... You haven't felt anything, have you? Your loyalty is to the crown you helped secure, remember . Your control is getting better. Faster than I expected. It feels ... like coming home. A home I'd forgotten. What is it? What's wrong? It's Ingokots, Hera Serafina. It's like a wave of agony. And guilt. So much guilt. She's not just feeling my power anymore. I can feel her, too. And she's breaking. Temate Bon, a tether of soul and fate, was reopening. And through it flowed not just power, but truth. The truth of a betrayer's remorse. This changes everything. A guilty conscience is the most unpredictable variable of all. I can't just sit here and train while I don't even know what to feel. She helped them try to kill me. The bond is a two-way street, Leo. If you're feeling her, she's feeling you. Your control. Your growth. That might be what's causing her guilt. It's a vulnerability we can't afford right now. We have company. But it's not a hunter. They triggered the perimeter charm, not the traps. The prince's reawakening bond sent ripples through two worlds. But in the shadows of the human city, other exiles had been waiting, listening for the whisper of a legend they never stopped believing in. It's them. The exiles. The ones who were loyal to your father. I've been tracking them for years, waiting for the right time. You knew about them and didn't tell me. I needed to be sure you were ready. Let them in. Your Highness. The scent of the Obsidian Wolf. We thought it lost to the world. We are the Ghost Pack. The last loyalists of your father, King Theron. My father ... You knew him? We serve him. We were framed for treason by your brothers and cast out. We've been hiding here, waiting for a sign, and we felt Italiano, a surge of controlled, ancient power. It was you. We are not many, Prince Kalin. Maybe 24. But we are strong, and we have kept the old ways alive. We never bowed to Fenrir. Why now? Why reveal yourselves? Because the hunters are not the only ones who can feel a shift in the wind. Your brothers are consolidating power. They plan to purge all who oppose them. Our time in the shadows is over. It is time to stand. If you will lead us. A king is nothing without his people, and a people are nothing without hope. Oh no, so. But loyalty is not given blindly. It must be earned, and a prince must prove he is worthy of being a king. Will Leo rise to the challenge and reclaim his birthright? Our prince has returned, but a leader must have the strength to command respect. The old ways demand a trial of strength. No silver, no killing blows. A test of power and spirit. Don't hold back on my account. Your Highness, to lead the exiled, the prince had to become one of them. And in the world of wolves, respect is forged in combat. The trial would test not just his power, but his worth. Cade shifts in a flash of motion, becoming a sleek, tawny wolf. Fast and agile, he circles Leo, who remains in human form. His eyes closed, centering himself. Control, not rage. Focus. Cade lunges. But Leo doesn't try to shift. Instead, he moves with the preternatural speed he's honed in the human world, sidestepping with fluid grace and using Cade's own momentum to throw him completely off balance. The pack murmurs, clearly impressed. He's fighting like a lichen, but thinking like a human. This is something new. He's clever. Clever isn't enough. Frustrated by Leo's evasive tactics, Cade charges again, this time with a powerful, ferocious swipe of his claws. This attack is too fast to direct. Leo can't fully dodge it. Instinctively, he brings his arms up to block the blow, and in that instant, the obsidian power, the ancient magic within him, finally answers his unspoken call. His forearms don't just transform into fur and claws. They become sheathed and solidified, dark energy that looks exactly like polished obsidian armor, glittering with what looks like trapped starlight. Cade's razor-sharp claws scraped violently against it with a horrifying sound like grinding glass. But they do absolutely no damage. The obsidian is unyielding. A collective gasp ripples through the entire pack. This is a level of power, of raw control, that none of them have ever witnessed before. Cade recoils, his wolf form trembling with shock. Leo stands his ground, the obsidian armor receding back into a harmless mist that swirls around his hands. He's breathing heavily from the exertion, but his gaze is steady, unwavering. I don't want to hurt you, Cade. I don't want to hurt any of you. I want to lead you home. He doesn't press his advantage. He doesn't attack. He simply stands there, open and resolute, the perfect embodiment of controlled, immense power. Cade shifts back to his human form, panting for breath. He stares at the faint, shimmering mist, still clinging to Leo's hands, then looks into his prince's eyes. Slowly, he gives a deep, respectful nod. The stories are true. The Obsidian Wolf protects its own. I am yours, to command, my king. He drops to one knee, and like a wave, one by one, the entire ghost pack follows his lead, kneeling before their new king. He had passed the trial, not by unleashing his fury, but by mastering it completely. He had earned his pack, but a king's responsibilities are vast, and his first command would be his most dangerous yet. Your first order, my king. We must secure our position. Your brother's hunters are one problem. The other is the portal they are using. It's unstable. and we have intelligence. Fenrir is coming himself. The war is no longer coming. It has arrived. Sound of wind and the crackling of unstable energy. The portal is decaying. It can't handle much more traffic, but it's enough for one last big push. Fenrir knows that. He's coming. Then we'll be ready. Music begins to swell. The prince had earned his pack, but a king's first duty is to protect his people, and the storm they had long feared was about to break. The regent was coming, and he was not coming alone. Remember, the goal isn't to win a war tonight. It's to survive, to prove we can stand against him. No. The goal is to send him a message that his little brother isn't hiding anymore. A low hum builds to a deafening roar. His ear sound of a portal flaring open, followed by guttural growls. Kalan, come and face your king. Sounds of intense battle, clashing metal, wolf snarls, explosions of silver dust, sonic blasts, sound of a crossbow being swatted away, followed by a threatening growl. A deep, resonant pulse of energy pushes things back. You dare use our father's power against me. You, who hid among humans? Like a coward. I learned more among humans than I ever did in our palace. I learned loyalty isn't given by blood, it's earned. The exiled prince stood his ground against the false king, but the cost of defiance was high, and the portal, strained to its limit, was about to exact a terrible price. Sound of the portal screaming, ground cracking, and structures collapsing. Scene opens with a flashback, a younger Rhys and Fenrir arguing in a grand, stone-walled room. A teenage Seraphina watches, her expression pained. Rhys, this is madness. Fenrir, banishment, maybe, but killing a 7-year-old, our own brother.
Fenrir, he is not our brother.
He is a monster wearing our brother's face. That thing is the end of our world. Now tell me, Rhys, are you with me, or are you against me? Rhys glances at Seraphina, who gives a slight, pained nod. Rhys's shoulders slump in defeat. While the brothers clashed in the human world, the ghost of their past rose to haunt the one who had always been the most reluctant traitor. The scene shifts to the present. Rhys paces frantically in Fenrir's opulent chambers. Fenrir is nursing a fresh, deep wound on his arm, his face a mask of fury. Rhys, you said it would be a clean strike, a simple in and out. You said the keeper was a minor obstacle. You lied. You almost got us all killed. Fenrir, I did what was necessary, something you've never had the stomach for. He's stronger than I anticipated. Far stronger. And he's rallying followers. Rhys. They flock to him like he's some kind of savior. Rhys, of course he is. He's the rightful king. We stole his throne. Fenrir. We tried to murder a child. When does it end? When does this madness finally stop? Fenrir, his voice turns. I scold it ends when he's dead. And I have a new plan. We use the girl Seraphina. Her connection to him, that ... bond, is weakening her resolve. We'll use it to lure him into a trap he can't escape. Later, plagued by guilt and Fenrir's chilling words, Rhys finds himself in the desolate royal archives. The air is thick with the smell of old parchment and forgotten history. He runs a hand over his father's old, dust-covered desk, a familiar ache in his chest. His fingers catch on a hidden latch. Inside, a sealed scroll, glowing with a faint, magical light. It's his father's last will, magically concealed from prying eyes. With trembling hands, he breaks the seal and begins to read. His blood runs cold. His breath catches in his throat. The will explicitly states that if anything should happen to the king before Kaelin came of age, a council was to rule in his stead. Not Fenrir, never Fenrir. Then, Rhys's eyes fall upon a single, damning line that feels like a dagger to the heart. My son, Fenrir, is ambitious but rash. His heart is clouded by envy. Watch him closely. Rhys stumbles back, the scrolls slipping from his numb fingers. It all crashes down on him. The siege, the exile, the constant lies. Fenrir didn't just betray Kel. He betrayed their father's final wishes. He had been manipulating them, Ulrich. Serafina from the very beginning, twisting their loyalty into a weapon for his own ambition. A single scroll, a father's final words, shattered a decade of lies. The reluctant traitor now saw the path clearly, but the question remained. Was it too late to choose the right side? Rhys slowly bends down and picks up the will. He looks from the parchment to a grand portrait on the wall, their family, whole and happy. A smiling father with his arm around a young Kaelin. Fenrir and Rhys standing proudly beside them. He crumples the will in his fist, not in anger, but with grim, unshakable determination. He knows what he has to do. Going somewhere? The pack is still reeling from the battle. Your king needs you. Your bond to the traitor is the key to our victory. You will lure him out. You will play the remorseful mate, beg for his forgiveness. And when he lets his guard down, when he trusts you completely, you will slit his throat. Pushed to the brink, the pawn in the brothers' game was finally ready to become a player. Her life had been a chessboard, her moves dictated by fear and manipulation. But now, with the board reset and the pieces scattered, she saw a new path forward. And the bond she once betrayed, the connection she had severed in a moment of weakness, would become her salvation. The final move was hers to make, and it would change the course of the war forever. Silence. I'll always protect you, Kaelin. I promise. What is it? Is it her? She's calling me. She's showing me where to meet. Alone. It's a trap. My king. You cannot go. Fenrir is using her, using your bond to lead you to your death. He knows you'll feel her distress. This is his final, desperate gambit. We cannot allow you to walk into it. The memory ... The emotion. It wasn't a lie. It was pure. It was from a time before all this. Before the crowns, the betrayal, the war, the bond. It's clear now, for the first time since I returned. There's no interference, no corruption from Fenrir's influence. She's breaking free from them. Primera, Abeto go. Leo, this is exactly what Fenrir would want. A secluded location. You, alone and vulnerable. He'll have his best warriors waiting in the shadows. You won't stand a chance. Please, think about this. Your pack needs you. I know, but it's also what I want. It's time to reclaim what I lost. All of Italiano. A king must sometimes trust his heart over his head, his instinct over his counsel. For Leah, the choice was not between caution and recklessness, but between doubt and faith. Guided by a bond reforged in fire and regret, the true king walked into the lion's den, hoping to find not a trap, but an ally. He was betting his life and the future of his pack on a single, shared memory and the echo of a childhood promise. I have no right to ask for your trust, but everything I did that night, I believed it was for the good of the packs. Fenrir made me believe the Obsidian Wolf was a curse. I was wrong. You were my best friend. Still a meeting under the full moon. A confession, a decade in the making. But in the shadows, blades were drawn, and the fate of two souls hung in the balance. Last time, Leo and Serafina finally met face to face, the weight of a 10-year-old betrayal hanging between them. Serafina confessed her part in the plot, a pawn in Fenrir's game of power. But is forgiveness possible when the past is stained with blood? And can a friendship, shattered by deceit, ever be made whole again? Stay with us as the final pieces fall into place, because tonight, the crown will be claimed. As Serafina takes a cautious step towards Leo, the rustle of leaves gives way to the glint of steel. Fenrir's gods materialize from the darkness, their blades gleaming under the moonlight, forming a deadly circle around them. Fenrir himself emerges, a cruel smile playing on his lips as he surveys the scene. A touching reunion. But all stories must. Our stories must. His voice is slick with false sympathy. A predator enjoying his cornered prey. But just as the guards tense, ready to strike, Another figure steps out from behind a stone pillar. It's Reese. He doesn't join the guards, but instead places himself directly between them and the trapped couple, his expression grim and resolute. This ends now. Fenrir, I know about the will. I know you lied to us all. Fenrir's smug smile evaporates, replaced by a flicker of pure fury. The guards falter, their loyalty fractured, confused by the sudden standoff between the two brothers who were meant to rule together. In that moment of hesitation, Serafina turns to Leo, her voice a rapid, desperate whisper. I'm sorry. I knew he'd follow me. I had to get you both in the same place. It was the only way. The air crackles with tension. It's a three-way standoff. Fenrir and his guards on one side, Reese standing as a lone bulwark in the middle, and Leo and Serafina on the other, their backs against the wall. Fenrir's face contorts with rage, his authority challenged in front of his men. You're all traitors! Kill them all. His command rings out, sharp and final. But before the guards can obey, a new sound cuts through the night, the thunderous roar of powerful engines. Headlights slice through the darkness as a convoy of trucks screeches to a halt, kicking up dust and gravel. Doors fly open and figures pour out, surrounding Fenrir's forces with disciplined speed. It's the Ghost Pack, with Alara and Bran at the forefront, their faces set like stone. Alara had been tracking Leo all along, a silent guardian angel. Bran steps forward, his voice a low growl that carries across the clearing. The odds have changed, Regent. Fenrir's forces are now outnumbered. Leo looks from the trapped Regent to Serafina, Hagambo having paid off. He sees Reese, his brother, standing defiant against tyranny. He sees his pack, the Ghost Pack, loyal to the very end. This isn't a collection of outcasts and rebels. This is a court. Court. A power he had long suppressed begins to stir, and when he speaks, his voice is no longer that of an exile, but a monarch. It booms with an ancient authority that makes the very ground tremble. Fenrir, you are charged with treason against the crown, the attempted murder of your king, and the betrayal of our father's legacy. Stand down. The exile was over. The prince was gone. In his place stood a king, surrounded by those who had weathered the storm and returned to his side. The battle for the soul of the Lycan nation had just begun, and there was only one path forward. Leo's body erupts in a pillar of dark, star-flecked light. The energy is overwhelming, a vortex of shadow and starlight that pulses with raw power. When the light fades, he is transformed. He is not a wolf, but something more. The perfect hybrid form of the Obsidian King, a majestic being of power and grace. His eyes glowing with cosmic energy, he raises a clawed hand and points it directly at a trembling Fenrir. We are going home. The king has returned. He has Reese. He has Serafina. He has an army. Seal the borders. Prepare for war. The false king, wounded and desperate, scrambled to defend his stolen throne. But he was not preparing for an invasion. He was preparing for a coronation. Previously, on the return, Leo, harnessing the full power of the Obsidian bloodline, confronted Fenrir in a devastating clash. Though Fenrir managed to escape, the tide had turned. With his closest allies, Reese and Serafina, freed from the false king's grasp, and an army of loyal followers at his back, Leo's long-awaited homecoming was finally at hand. The pieces are set, the board is cleared, and the final move is about to be played. For 10 years, we have lived in the shadows. For 10 years, we have been cold, traitors, exiles, and ghosts. No more. Today, we do not invade our home. We liberat, it for my fate, for our future. The army's unified howl echoed through the borderlands, a sound not of war, but of restoration. As they stepped through the shimmering portal, they found themselves not on a battlefield, but on a path lined with their own people. The common Lycans, who had suffered under Fenrir's paranoid rule, watched in stunned silence. A legend from a forgotten time was marching before them, not as a conqueror, but as a long-lost son. Whispers turned to shouts, spreading like wildfire through the crowd. The prince lives. The Obsidian Wolf, the true king. The years of lies and suppression crumbled in an instant, replaced by a surge of pure, unadulterated hope. At the capital's towering gates, the royal guards, sworn to protect the throne, saw the approaching army, but more importantly, they saw the faces of the people. They saw the truth reflected in 1,000 pairs of eyes. One by one, they lowered their spears, dropped to one knee, and bowed their heads to their rightful king. The city's defenses had not fallen. They had yielded. The return of the king was not a battle of armies, but a revolution of spirit. The people had chosen their side, but inside the palace, a cornered beast awaited, and he would not surrender his crown without a final, bloody fight. The grand throne room doors swung open, revealing the usurper. "Welcome home, little brother. Let's finish this." Thank you so much for watching the penultimate episode of The Return. The final confrontation is almost here. Who do you think will be left standing on the Obsidian throne? Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the epic series finale. Welcome home, little brother. Let's finish what we started 10 years ago. The final confrontation. The exiled king had returned to face the brother who betrayed him. The fate of the Lycan nation would be decided not by armies, but by the two brothers whose bond was shattered by ambition. No, this is between us. Always so noble, that was always your weakness. Fenrir. That's the soul drinker blade. Father forbade anyone from wielding it. It will consume you. A small price for victory. The brothers clash in a whirlwind of obsidian light and dark magic. Fenrir fights with brutal, desperate strength, the cursed sword draining the very light from the room. But Leo, now King Kalan, fights with precision and control, his obsidian armor deflecting blows, his movements fluid and purposeful. Why won't you just die? I was meant to be king. A king serves his people. You only serve yourself. In a final, decisive move, Kalan doesn't strike to kill it. As Fenrir brings the cursed sword down in a fatal arc, Kalan catches the blade between his obsidian-clad hands. The dark metal screams as his pure obsidian energy purges the curse from it, shattering the sword into 1,000 pieces. The backlash sends Fenrir flying, slamming against the base of the throne. He looks up, defeated, as Kalan stands over him, the starlight in his obsidian form burning brighter than ever. I don't need to kill you to defeat you, brother. Your own hatred has already destroyed you. The throne is yours, King Kalan, by right of birth, by right of power, and by right of character. You were so blinded by what you wanted, you never saw what you had. A brother who loved you. The time of fear and division is over. We are one pack again, and we will be stronger than ever before. The prince in exile had become the king on the throne. His journey through betrayal and hardship had forged not just a ruler, but a legend. And as the sun rose on a new era for the Lycan people, one truth remained. The Obsidian King had finally come home. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey. It means the world to us. If you enjoyed this series, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories. We'll see you in the next one.